Yeah. Real good. What we got going on over here?
So we're doing a little podcast.
Exactly like it should.
It tastes brown.
It tastes like embarrassment. We haven't received any ransom letters.
This is Dewey Raw, the podcast that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the biggest little party town on the Delaware shore.
We, just like everybody else, have no idea what's going to happen.
Do you want to talk to the starboard manager about that?
Hi!
I love this podcast.
I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I am Megan, the Starboard restaurant here in Dewey Beach, Delaware. Emphasis on the Dewey
Raw podcast.
Yes.
Right. It's a little bit noisy. There's a lot of action going on behind us. There's a lot of staff that's just happens to be right here off camera.
They're feeding their faces with pizza. Thank you to Pete for bringing us some pizza.
Well deserved.
Yes.
2:00 lunch break.
Yeah.
They've been working very hard in intermittent weather outside. We did a little pre-show with one Meg August.
I know her.
Hello.
She Maddie Casper saying hello. She mentioned it's a big weekend.
We have a couple of things going on.
A
lot of things. Yes, this is a big weekend for us. You know, it's kind of unique because usually this weekend happens at the end of June, in early July, and we have our whole staff here.
Right.
And we're kind of rocking with half our staff. Still everything needs to be done going on. The bartender's been here working. Mike Helwich, Brett's been here the last 2 nights. They've been kind of doing everything. Toastie's been running everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing things to help out, helping hands here and there. And
I will say that I saw Toastie.
yes,
I didn't say one word to him.
that's probably a good thing. Yep.
I gave him a fist bump and, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Moral support. Although I'm not
That's
actually
whatever's happening back here.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Happy Friday in Dewey Beach.
Happy Friday and Dewey.
Hi, Meg.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what happens when you record a podcast in a bar on a rainy Friday afternoon.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, we've been kind of at it all week. Bar backs have been doing their thing. Make sure we have enough liquor and beer to get the town
To
rolling.
sustain the staff?
Exactly.
Or
Well, that's probably soon. What, it's still a little after 2 now?
Public service announcement. Big Daddy Hesseltine will be in the parking lot bar shirtless all weekend long.
shirtless.
You
Thank
heard it here
Casey for that.
first. You heard it here first. How about, hey, Casey?
And
How about you?
here's the thing about Casey. He is not able to lie.
Very
So what you just heard is the absolute God's honest truth.
Oh.
And I don't know, like it's gonna be a great time.
It's going to be awesome. You know what? Rain or shine, we're doing it. And
rain or
we're
shine.
getting
it's
it ready
here.
in the rain today. And it's going to be an awesome time. We're really looking forward to it, especially since we weren't able to celebrate last year.
Yep.
So I think it's good times had by all. And it's going to be almost like a nice, because a lot of our the college students after this weekend are kind of heading back. They're kind of waiting around for this. So it's kind of going to be a send-off for some of our staff as well. So
Good for them.
yeah,
We're getting all the rain out of the way today.
let's hope.
Tomorrow is going to be 82 and sunny,
I love that.
0 humidity.
Yes.
Monty has
Okay.
called it in and made it official.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And the Dewey Dome is going to be in full effect tomorrow.
Dewey Dome
Not
is-
so much today. Not on Fridays, but on Saturdays, we're in.
Just to get everybody tuned up and ready for what's going on.
Sure.
Well, Meg, do you think we should
The man of the hour?
bring on a special guest?
The man, the myth, the legend?
Yeah.
I think we should. I mean, he's over there, as per usual, having conversations
Let's do
with...
it. I did tell him 2-ish, and he's right on time.
Yeah, he was outside kind of making sure... Monty made sure all the staff members thanked him because this is what... He's the reason why we're out here doing this. But no, it's such a great day. And again, don't forget that this supports our local firehouse, Rehoboth Firehouse. T-shirt sales. We're going to be walking around, fill the boot.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. You know, a lot of the events, all the events we do are for charity, and it's not just about having a good time, it's for a good cause as well.
Yeah. And I think we're really making that push
Absolutely.
extra this year.
I want what they're having. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna do it, whatever it is.
They clearly have money riding on it.
Yes.
And,
yes. Absolutely. This was a perfect spot.
I think we should buy them a drink.
I think they deserve a drink.
Maybe something they have to.
They deserve a drink. All right, guys, can't wait to see you out here this weekend. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, we'll see you then. I'm gonna hand it over to Todd, and the man of the hour is about to get on.
All right. Joan is watching live. Has already bought a shirt. We appreciate that. Those of you watching, it is exciting. Here, I'm going to give this to you.
Okay.
That's your microphone.
Got it.
You can either clip it on or you can just hold
Right
it.
on the beard?
Yeah. So, my question is, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. How's that? Good? Michael McDonald. Unclear as to whether the right term is some of the blame or some of the credit for this event starting.
Yeah.
It's a weird story. The short version is, honestly, there is no short version because you can't do it in a short version.
Right. And you're not a short version.
And I'm not a short version. I'm an Irish guy. It's all, we talk long and nothing else. But it's basically, I went to Spain and ran with the Bulls with another guy in the summer of the actual Pamplona,
quote unquote
the real Bulls, the real Festival of San Fermin in Pamplona.
Yeah.
In 95, summer 95. I'm an old fart. And about 2 years later, standing here in the starboard in the spring, trying to convince the guy I had run with the Bulls with to join our beach house for that upcoming summer.
Right.
The drunken negotiation became, let's throw a big paella party, a Spanish themed party, like we've been doing sporadically since we went to Spain together. You know what? Let's just get a 2-person bull costume and have a bullfight.
I mean,
you know what? Let's have a 2-person bull costume chase a bunch of people down the highway.
Yeah.
And at that point, Chip Hearn, the owner at the time, was standing there, and he said, "You don't want to do the highway. You want to do it down the beach. It'll be funnier if it's on the beach."
Yeah, yeah. Families on the beach.
And they're all stop and look and what's going on. And so that summer, about 35 of us, it was sort of our beach house and people we knew or guests we had that weekend who had no idea what they were getting into. White T-shirts, red bandanas.
Just like Pamplona.
Come up here at noon, drink for 2 hours. We rented the costume from a place in Kensington, Maryland, Jean's Costume Shop, still there. They probably still have that same bull costume.
Which is amazing.
We actually, for like 6 years, we rented that costume and brought it down every year. So it was after about the 3rd or 4th year that Monty took over the starboard, called me and said, let's figure out a way to make this bigger and better.
Right.
Let's sell T-shirts and bandanas to benefit the town.
Do something that will make it more agreeable to the town.
Yeah, institutionalize it a little bit more, get permits, do it all right. Because at the time, for those first couple of years, it was, and I'm going to date myself by using this term, it was like a flash mob.
Yeah.
You remember those?
Yep.
But it was a flash mob that every year doubled in size.
Yeah.
To the point where I was managing a 150-person flash mob and starting to worry about my liability.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the starboard's like, oh, no, we'll need to make this a town thing. We'll do it all legit. We'll get street legal. It'll be great. The lifeguards are cooperated. They were phenomenal. Everybody's phenomenal. The whole town's phenomenal. I can't believe how good it is. And I sort of turned it over to Monty and said, all I ask is that I sort of get to stay on the steering committee. Every year I get emails from him. How about so-and-so for the Matador? How about these for the T-shirts? He's really good about keeping me and a couple of the other guys who I bring them in, who started it, involved. And it's just grown. I mean, now we have the kids running.
Yep.
Which, honest to God, was my wife's idea. Monty,
because you have kids of your own.
We had at the time we had a 2-year-old with another one on the way, and I was talking about the Dewey Beach Partnership and how they were trying to make family events, and my wife, without even thinking about it, said if they really want to do a good family event, the weekend of the bull running, they should do a kids one on the beach in the morning.
Right.
Because we started to see that families would gather across the street or along the sidewalk.
Sure.
Not necessarily come in the bar, but when the running happened, dads who had been here 10 years before were taking their kids down to the beach to run.
Right.
And that was a little hairy. So let's do a kids one in the morning and then a less mature one with the starboard patrons in the afternoon. And that's been amazing.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, too, because I feel like everybody has their specific, even family tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Far beyond even what you started and what this has become. Like, what's the house down on the corner
They put the signs up.
They put the signs up and like spray everybody down.
Yep, with water.
With water.
And then as the route has changed, some houses have actually been like disappointed that they're no longer on the route.
Yeah.
The guys on Houston Street, the Sunshine House, had this like wooden banner they made, and it was up every year.
Yeah.
But you also see like beach houses, group houses that have disbanded, come back for like reunion weekends.
Oh, nice.
And some of them have the hat, and they've got these pins they put on for every year they ran. And I'm like, this makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I'm also always amused when I'm standing in front of like the sign, and the sign says 24th running of the bull.
Yeah.
And there's always those guys who are like, I was here 12 years ago at the first one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, I'd love you to think that, and I'm not going to correct you, but the math is off. Like that doesn't work, right?
Right.
And
I'm not gonna ruin your game that you're trying to lay out right now. But in fact, you weren't.
And so at the 20th, we did a thing where we brought as many of the original 35. I have this one group photo that I think of as these are the 35 original people.
Right.
And I can name every single one of them except this one girl.
Right. Did we ever find that one?
We still never found her. She was the guest of someone. Mm-hmm. She came to the house for the weekend, and as I recall, she was in the process of like her car was full of stuff. She was like on her way from moving from like New York to South Carolina.
Right.
And some friend of hers said, you should come. I'm going to be at this beach house. I think she may have actually been like a guest of a guest.
Right.
So no one can remember who she was. She had a great time, and she actually ended up saying to a couple of us who were staying down for the week, do you mind if I like hang out till like Tuesday? I'm in no rush to get anywhere. We're like, sure.
Yeah.
And then we have no idea where she is or who. We can't remember her name. We just have the picture.
It's still a mystery. I think for the 25th running in
next year.
I think next year we need to do like real investigative work. Hire, get
her face on milk cartons, whatever it takes out there. Yep.
And get it done.
Well, I have a friend coming this year, Ted Atkinson, and he was at the second. He was one of the guys at the second one.
Yep.
And he has made a phony torch for her, and there's a T-shirt with that close-up of her face, the circle around it, and he's running in memory of the lost girl with his torch.
Yeah.
And the T-shirt actually is the 20th running of the bull emblem on it because I made it for him for the 20th and he couldn't make it.
Oh, funny.
So this is his first year back.
Good.
And the back of it's on the front. It says, "I'm running in memory of the forgotten girl. Never forget." And on the back it says, "We forgot." Sort of exactly where we are.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, the mystery of that and the lore of that just adds to the whole experience.
There's part of me that would love to find her, and I always sort of joke that there's part of me like at my funeral, this mysterious woman in black shows up,
standing over on the hill
with the umbrella. I was the missing girl.
Yeah. Everyone's in black. She has a red umbrella
and a red bandana and all black, and that's. She goes and embraces my children and walks off.
Right.
It's almost like I don't want to road it and find her.
Right. That's fantastic. What we're looking at out these windows as it's trickling down a little bit is pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
The transformation. Of course, after last year, they had a semi-permanent tent that's been in the parking lot. We've been able to do seating out there. It's been very popular and very full.
Tables and a to-go counter.
So basically, this morning they broke all of that down.
Right.
And now they're erecting what will be another. Well, it's the fight area.
Right. Two outdoor bars,
and a massive stage,
and a jumbotron.
Right. Which until when you see the event and it's happening, it's like, oh, good. I'm glad there's a jumbotron, so that I can kind of like.
So if I'm in the back and I can't quite see the stage, which on a normal day is like 60 yards, and we can have a conversation.
It's so close. It's literally like 6 car spaces.
Right.
And but when you're pulling in and you see the jumbotron, you're like, that's ridiculous. It's bigger than the entire restaurant. But
what? It makes sense.
But here we are. There's lots of great stories that people have had over the years. This is a silly event. I was looking at some old footage, and one thing that's fallen off that I think would be fun to come back is the protesters.
So it's funny you should say that.
Okay.
If it weren't raining right now, and if we were in the parking lot, my friend Rich would say, "Oh, I'm going to make signs and show up behind the podcast and protest." And I said, that's great. I would like to leave the podcast early and be seen in the back tackling you in a counter protest. We were talking about it last night at a bonfire on the beach for like a half hour.
Right.
The whole plan. And then it rained, and he's like, I'm not that motivated.
Right.
He's been working all morning, you know.
Yeah.
But I think you might see them. Some of the great protests were
Because it's like,
single guys.
I mean, it's a spoof. Obviously, it's two guys in a bull costume.
Right.
The real bullfighting is somewhat controversial.
Yeah. So what they call themselves is PTAC.
Okay.
The People for the Ethical Treatment of Animal Costumes, and that's the name of the group. And back when Garrett Walsh was actually the guy who was always in the bull costume,
Right.
their spin on "Meat is Murder" protest sign was a sign that said "Garrett is Murder," which made no sense unless you knew all the moving pieces.
Right.
This run is bull.
Yeah.
Fake. It's something like "Wear fake fur, not fake bulls."
Yeah.
Like they had all these great signs, and it was largely Rich Godbout and his very large family. Extended family, John Sturditch and Tom Lynch, 3 friends of mine. One year, John Sturditch and Tom Lynch made like something you'd see.
We just got we got an impromptu beer shooter from Monty.
We're just a commercial break.
Yeah.
So come on down to Unpainted Arizona. So one year they made out of like cardboard boxes and various like tubes and things. It looked like something the Little Rascals would have done.
Yeah.
Robot costumes, like spray painted silver.
Nice.
And they were the robots for the ethical treatment of animal costumes. And they were walking around in the starboard and they looked like, they basically look like 6 foot tall. Hey, I'm going to be the Tin Man for Halloween this year, Mom.
Right.
And they throw the costume together.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. And then one year they were mimes. And they didn't say anything, but they had all these signs that said, they had a picture of a bull on one side.
Yeah.
And the other sign said, this is incredible. This is, it was every word that ended with bull.
Right.
And they had the signs, and they just kept flashing at people in the bars. And
Yeah.
I like that little, when people take the theme and run with it.
It's a nuance.
Right.
And that just adds to the whole thing. There's been always plenty of bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, all that fun stuff. Last year, there was a group of people, back in 19, there was a group of people who had, I guess it was a bachelor, but like huge fat head signs,
Right.
or pictures of this guy's face,
Right.
that they're just,
Right.
carrying around. People with huge red afros.
Oh, yeah. In the early years, and I tend to be a purist, nerdy guy.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love it when everyone wore white and red bandanas, and I still sort of say that's the general dress code.
Right.
But you see some stuff that has nothing to do with the Festival of San Fermin. I do like that we made, I don't know if you guys can see it up there, right above our heads in the rafters to be brought out on stage
Oh, yes.
is our bust of Ernest Hemingway.
Right.
And the story behind that was, I think for the 10th anniversary, I went back through my photos of when I went to Pamplona.
Right.
And there is a stone bust of Hemingway in front of the bull ring in Pamplona.
Okay.
And in Spanish, it says something like that on the plaque.
Yeah.
And the English translation of it is something like, for Ernest Hemingway, who in his novel The Sun Also Rises popularized the running of the bulls at the Festival of San Fermin in Pamplona.
Yeah.
But this says something like, for Ernest Hemingway, whose novel The Sun Also Rises popularized the running of the bulls in Pamplona. But wait, we're in Delaware. Let's just go get a beer. I can't remember the exact translation, but that's what it says in Spanish. And every once in a while, you'll see somebody read Spanish and squint and go, that's really funny.
Yeah.
And I had a friend of mine do it. So Tom Lynch, ironically, one of the protesters, he does metal work. He has a metal shop. He does roofing and stuff. I ordered the busts online.
Yeah.
And I say busts because knowing this crowd, I ordered 2. One of them's up in Monty's office. Because that one will break one day.
Yeah.
But the actual plinth, or whatever you would call it, it's on.
Yeah.
A friend of mine made it. He's a metal shop.
Nice.
It's hollow, pretty thick aluminum. So it looks really heavy.
Yeah.
But I can pick that thing up with 2 hands.
Yeah.
And I'm no Reggie Branch. So that's like, you're not getting much out of it,
Yeah.
But so, and it's funny because that's the thing where I get here, like at 11:30 on bull running day, and somewhere at 11:45, either me or in the past it's been Katie Wethman, has been like, wait, why isn't Hemingway on stage? And everybody goes, oh, we knew we forgot something. And there's a crowd of people in here, and all of a sudden Hemingway's doing the mosh pit. He's being handed hand over hand
Crowd
onto the
surfing.
stage. It's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Right.
I have a little surprise for you.
Oh, dear God.
I'm not sure we're going to be able to make it happen,
Right.
But there is a.
I feel like I'm a guy Smiley. This is your life right now. This is awesome.
There is an employee here, and I know that for years you've tried to get a member from the Spanish embassy in DC to come down for this event.
Every other year, I email them and.
Yeah. Well, there's a member of the staff here who has a master's degree in Spanish.
Nice.
And I asked her, Dylan is her name. I asked her if she's good at translating.
Right.
She said, pretty good. So if we can work it, her comment was, if Monty says it's okay, I'm 100% doing it. We can have her up on stage to do the Spanish translation
A section of the show.
of the
I
section of the show. Maybe it's the fight. Maybe it's the introduction.
That's awesome.
Maybe it's the rules. Yes, maybe
Rules, that would be good.
the rules.
By the way, as a dad of children, I'm obligated now to tell the one dad joke that's relevant to this.
Yes.
Which is, did you hear the one about the Spanish magician? He said, on the count of 3, I'm going to disappear. Uno, dos, and then he vanished without a trace. Don't laugh at that. My son's like, you're encouraging him.
Yeah,
Stop.
right. And he vanished without a trace. Love it. Love it.
But so I'll tell you a moment. I was thinking about this over. There was a moment at I think it was the second running of the bowl, where I saw, and this is like pre-internet. Like there was very rudimentary internet back then.
Yeah.
There was a chat board called The Wall, where people would go on and talk trash about each other's Dewey Beach houses.
Oh, fun.
It was associated with like a magazine, these free magazines that came out every week.
Yeah.
They got left in the entranceways of all these bars.
Right.
And we would start to put things out on the wall to other beach houses, or we would find these very like rudimentary beach house websites, like hosted by Tripod.
Right.
We would send the site master's email address. Hey, in 2 weeks is the running of the bowl. Your house should join us.
Yeah.
So we had like 80 people that second year, and it was great. And I liked having people come prepared. They had white shirts and red bands, things. But there were like these 4 guys who wandered in the Starboard on noon on that Saturday. They all looked miserably hungover.
Yeah.
They didn't look like they had any idea what was going on.
Right.
But they all happened to be wearing white T-shirts. And they're like, wait, what are you guys doing? And we're like, well, we're going to do this. And in 2 hours, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, where can we get red bandanas? And at that point, like, I don't know, a gas station, up the highway or whatever. And so they're like, we'll be right back. And one of them left. And he went down the street and he came back with 2 red, brand new Dewey Beach T-shirts he bought in some store.
Right.
And he proceeded to rip them into bandana-shaped squares. They tied them around their necks. It was like at that moment that I was like, this thing has legs. Like, this isn't just something people who want to do it in advance are going to do.
Right.
This is the kind of thing where people stop round the corner and see it, and they're like, let's go there.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I knew this thing has legs. Like, it was something else. And he's like, because if anybody get these 4 hungover guys to motivate and get weird, that was pretty good.
I mean, and Dewey Beach is definitely the place of getting weird. Speaking of getting weird, right off camera. Oh, he's walking away. We have Ken over here.
Yeah, Ken, the annual referee,
and he's been the referee for how many years?
I don't know, because he did a transition at one point.
And are there referees in the real bullfights?
No. I think it's safe to say that the authenticity of our bullfight is highly in doubt. Yeah. And Kenny referees a lot of things. He has a ref shirt. And even he got married down here a couple of years ago, and the joke was that night after everybody went out to the Starboard after the wedding, all the guys who went to the wedding had gone out and bought ref shirts and were wearing them.
So it looked like a Foot Locker convention.
So it looked like a Foot Locker convention, right? Exactly. Foot Locker training day.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's an interesting conflict of interest because for the first couple of years, I remember Kenny wasn't doing refereeing.
Right.
He was running book. He was taking bets on who's going to win. Is it the bull or the bull or the bull? Yeah. And he had stats on like who's won the last couple of years. Yeah. Which didn't mean anything because it was a different bullfighter every year.
Right.
But he would run the stats.
Yes.
And then at some point he became the ref. And I thought to myself, if he's still taking book and he's the ref,
I bet he is still taking book.
I'm calling the Delaware Gaming Commission. Vibrant and
that would be a good twist for like the 25th anniversary.
Right in the middle of the bullfight, the
gaming
gaming commission come in and haul him off in handcuffs. I'm talking to him about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I'll tell you, the one thing that disappeared on us also was I was driving down to the beach one weekend years ago, stopped at one of these big antique barns that are almost more like a big yard sale.
Right.
And I bought for like $40 like an old army stretcher. It collapsed up. And for a long time, it was up in the rafters at Gary's.
Okay.
And we would bring it over, and that's how either the bull, the 2 guys, or the matador, one guy, were always sort of whoever went down
Right.
carted off.
Right. Kind of like Benny Hill style.
Literally disappeared one year. That big wood, like mahogany handles. Like someone in the crowd just took it and put it in their car. I don't know who stole it. I'm going to find you, you son of a bitch. We're going to get you.
Yeah.
It was, 13, 14 years ago. And then for a couple of years, the lifeguards would lend us one of their white boards to haul people up. We've forgotten to do that. Now it's like you wait 30 seconds, get up and lip off.
Yeah.
We don't need you anymore.
Right.
But we used to have the whole, because the parking lot used to be a little more roomier.
You used to have a
People
little more
on the deck
space.
watching the running the bullfight.
Yeah.
Because there was no permit to be in the parking lot with your drink.
I got you.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the pre-show with Meg, but I don't think we've announced yet who the Matador is going to be for this year, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. And
It's always a secret.
And I'm going to let you say his name because I'll mispronounce it.
Okay.
Or are you going to make me do it? I don't know.
No, I'll do it. So this year, there's always been a wide variety. Smokey's done it. Ian's done it. I know we had
Eric
Ryan
Faisal
Philippi do it.
Ryan Philippi.
So this
John
year,
Hardy 1 year.
John Hardy. This year from Dogfish Head, the head man himself, Sam Galchione.
Right. Which is phenomenal for me for personal reason. And I'll throw out right now.
Yeah.
Is that when I was 17 years old and right out of high school, I don't know if I told you this.
Oh, you did.
I was bussing tables that summer at the Holiday House.
Right.
The erstwhile Holiday House in Bethany Beach, Delaware.
At 17.
With 15-year-old, I think, Mariah Draper.
Right.
Who was dating some guy named Sam.
Right.
So
Yeah.
everybody just Google that, figure out who we're talking about. Unbelievable to me. And by the way, she and I have been friends on Facebook now for like a decade.
Right.
Haven't laid eyes on her since I was 17. Gonna see her here this Saturday. That's what I'm told.
That's
So Monty's gonna let us bust tables, for a few minutes at Old Times.
just you and Mariah bussing tables.
Yeah.
I think
Come on down to Starboard on Saturday. Watch me and Mariah bust tables.
I think that's worth it.
She was much better at it than I was back then.
Yeah.
That's probably still true.
Well, you've moved on and you've
We both moved on.
Yeah. with varying success in different categories.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'd like to say that you both are, enviably successful.
Right.
So
we're both doing very well.
yes.
Not so much for the Holiday House.
The Holiday House, not so much. The guys out here are getting ready to get the tent over bar number one.
And everybody
or bar number
should
two.
appreciate this. They've been out there in the rain all day.
Yes.
And none of them are it's unbelievable how many people are doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting too because people are coming in. So Anthony Bar behind us is actually closed. Shelly's not coming in for another couple of hours.
Right.
But the bar is full, and people are hooting and hollering, watching horse racing or something. But part of the reason that the bar is empty is because all of the staff is outside. So it's not like
Right.
strong men off the street that
Right.
they've had to
Right.
come in and do this.
It's not like Monty's got a stage crew on his staff that come and do, So it's basically all the bartenders are
Yes.
giving me the hairy eyeball 2 hours ago when I'm walking my dog.
Right.
Because
right.
you're the one of the reasons that we're out here in the rain
Yeah.
setting up wooden bars on gravel.
Right.
Where we could be home in bed hungover.
Right. When, as soon as the event ends tomorrow, they're going to have to undo it all
Flip it and put the tables back out.
and redo it again. So, because guess what? Sunday brunch is happening.
Right.
And
I don't know if anybody did it, but I thought about it as I was watching and I walked by earlier. Next year, if the same drill happens,
Yeah.
someone should mount a time lapse camera on the
Yes,
roof
yes.
and just get that footage of the breakdown and the build up.
Yes.
The breakdown, the event, and the build up.
Yeah,
all down to 4 minutes of would be fantastic.
the whole 48 hours.
Metamorphosis. Yes.
Yeah, would be amazing. I think I'm going to try to set up tomorrow a camera with on the shark. I want to do the shark cam.
Shark cam.
So it's it will have the whole event space, but it will be kind of vignetted by the teeth.
How great
of
would
the
it be
shark.
if you could get a Shark Cam package and then submit it for Shark Week? Next on they've got such tangentially related shark stuff anyway that
Right,
week.
right.
Here's another 30 minutes to fill your Shark Week. The Starboard Shark Cam.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, why not?
We're here for good ideas.
Better than Jabberjaw reruns, right?
Yes.
You're too young to remember that cartoon.
No, I remember. I love Jabberjaw.
There you go.
Michael, I appreciate you coming.
Absolutely. Great to be
And
here.
I appreciate you thinking about this stupid idea 25 years ago that's now turned into this amazing event that does serve the town and the community.
It's the part that was the most surprising to me, because I was still relatively young and just coming down here to have fun, was at some point about 7 or 8 years after we had started it, in one weekend, both, I think it was Gary Cannon and one of the guys at the Siesta told me that, the Running of the Bulls added like another holiday weekend to Dewey's calendar in weekends where we wouldn't have nearly as much business.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, so wait, it's good?
Right.
Like, I'm not just almost about to get arrested again for it? Like, what?
The fact that we have the Delaware State Police and the lifeguards, and that we shut down a major artery for a bunch of drunks to cross the street.
Well, the first time my mind was truly blown about that was when Monty explained to me that because all of the traffic lights out to the outlets, they actually alter them like a half hour before to start running red a little longer to sort of pace everybody back. And that has to be done by a guy on a button like in Dover. So what it means, though, is like if we get a rainstorm at 2 o'clock, and you couldn't just be like, let's just run at 3:30, because there's all these things in place to happen at 2, and you can maybe do it, but it takes a lot more coordination than people realize.
Right, it is something.
There's a guy in Dover ready to press the bull running button at the highway dashboard.
Right,
unbelievable.
It's great.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in and listening.
This, right?
Yeah, that's your parting gift.
We'll just wear it in the bathroom, and it'll be cool.
It records constantly, so it'll be perfect. So thanks for tuning in and thanks for watching. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube on the Starboard channels, and wherever you find podcasts. Cheers! Don't be that guy.